The tradition of bringing evergreen trees and evergreen plants into the home during the winter months is a long-standing one. In researching for this episode, I found several conflicting claims about the original year that this practice was established, and therefore I must simply say that the tradition has been around for quite the age. Appropriately, I may add, as it is often said that the evergreen is the only type of plant to survive the harsh winter in a lively state, and that people in years past would bring them into the home in order to encourage cheer during this time as a reminder that more life would return soon. In truth, it makes perfect sense to me that people would fill the winter season with as much merriment, food, drink, and activity as possible in order to distract themselves from the bleak reality of the weather outside, with its uncomfortable temperatures and explicit dangers. But could there be more to the bringing in of the evergreens? Could it be that human people are not the only ones coming home for the season? A popular figure in pagan paths is the Green Man. Who is he, and what might he have to do with our beloved living room evergreens? According to a website called spiritofthegreenman.co.uk, the Green Man is found in many forms throughout history. He is to be found in many different guises, but the common feature is the face covered by foliage, very often sprouting from their mouths. He is often found carved in wood or stone in medieval churches and cathedrals. Why they were included in the construction of these buildings by the Masons has perhaps been lost in the mists of time. Some people suspect that he was a bridge between the new beliefs of Christianity and the pagan beliefs it replaced. Evidence for this crossover of religions could be assumed from the sitting of Christian churches at the site of pagan sacred places. The term Green Man is modern in nature, dating back to 1939 when Lady Raglan published an article in the Folklore Journal. He has appeared as Jack in the Green, and there has been a revival of these appearances around the date of Beltane or May Day every spring, marking rebirth and the start of the cycle of growth. A descriptive little poem I have found within the article about the Green Man in his other form, Jack in the Green, is as follows. Jack in the Green. The sun is half up and betokens the hour when the children arrive with their garlands of flowers. So now let the music and the dancing begin, and toast the good heart of young Jack in the Green. The Green Man, or in his other appearance, Jack in the Green, is known to inhabit the wild trees. In the times of cathedral building, even, and today yet, the Green Man is featured prominently as a man's face spilling forth with foliage and surrounded by such. Because of the emphasis on the greenery surrounding and springing forth from the Green Man's visage, I personally do wonder if there is not some type of credence to the notion that he may indeed inhabit the trees, especially the evergreen trees. Could it be that some non-human people genuinely do live within the trees? Is this more than just a saying, or mistaking more common animals like squirrels or others who nestle within the branches for non-human people or magical beings? The Green Man gets most of the glory, I would now like to share with you some related experiences from other types of non human people. As I like to say, in my past life as a professional paranormal investigator, although I never experienced Bigfoot for myself, Bigfoot does inhabit the classification of wild man, much like the green man, and there are some similarities that I seem to have noted. In one case particularly, I received a report of high strangeness surrounding Bigfoot as well as other encounters with other beings in one man's woods. This was a large area of land and it seemed to have been enchanted for many years, though the activity at that time allegedly had picked up immensely. Much like people claiming for ages that the green man lives within the trees, I found the similarity with Bigfoot when one witness regaled me with the tale of observing a large Bigfoot, at least 7 feet tall and muscular, walk into a giant oak tree and disappear into it. Where did the Bigfoot go? Of course, there is always the chance that this witness was not a witness at all, but was lying, though I do not believe so because of the occurrences that I myself was privy to on the property. An encounter of this description is the one and only that I have ever heard of personally. Any other mention of Bigfoot that I have received secondhand has been simply that the Bigfoot is walking or going about its business, or that there is an element of high strangeness in another way. The assertion that Bigfoot walked into a tree and was absorbed into it was and still is all these years later a one of a kind report for me. This case took place in northern Ohio, USA, in approximately September of 2015. Another interesting link between non human beings and the assertion that they live within the trees came to me in yet another case. This one was one of the most delightful that I have ever had the pleasure and honor to work. I was hired on by a dear older lady who desperately wanted to work with the fairy folk. She believed that they were around somewhere, and she made great efforts in order to appeal to them, leaving out many food offerings, especially dairy, and had an entire fairy garden set up in the backyard, to the annoyance of her husband, who did not at all believe in any such thing. Everything about this case was positive, which was a rarity for me at the time. She had heard about me through the grapevine and contacted me in order to obtain my assistance in gaining more trust and interaction with the fairies that she believed were around her home and her garden. I found her to be a kind, doting, childlike person, and I appreciated working with her and her lively spirit, perhaps more than words can express. Upon my first visit, she showed me around the house and told me about her routine in leaving out offerings. She explained that she put out offerings a few times a week and that she did so around both the house and the garden. I was impressed with this regular routine and further impressed by her gorgeous garden, which was full of flowers, bushes, and pine trees. Almost every plant in her backyard looked vibrant and robust. She had meticulously edged and mulched everything, and the grass was kept at a semi-wild length. Immediately upon seeing the garden and sensing its energy, I did find that there were fairy people living within it, or at least, if nothing else, that she had projected so very much energy into believing that there were, that maybe she had created her own fairy tulpas. And of course, perhaps I am subconsciously making all of this up. Perhaps I am a liar or mentally ill. I leave this to you to decide for yourself. Regardless, I'm not sure that I will personally ever know until I go home. And mind you, that is home with a capital H. And then also, maybe I will simply never know. I like to think, though, that her efforts indeed captured the hearts and the attention of many little fairies. In scanning the backyard with my third eye, I noticed that there was one pine tree in particular. This tree seemed to pull me in, and then I realized that it was not the tree itself, but the little gnomes living within its branches. I had never seen such a thing before. In the tree with my third eye, and from across the backyard in the doorway of her kitchen, I was seeing tiny swings affixed to the branches, and I was witnessing little gnome-type men swinging on them and having a joyous time. When I disclosed this to my client, she began jumping for joy physically. This woman, who was at the time easily in her mid-50s, leapt up and down for several seconds, and she squealed like a small child. At the time, it had alarmed me, and I asked her why she was having such a response. In essence, she revealed to me that she had gone to a local craft store and bought small dollhouse-sized swings. She said that she had put them into the branches of the trees for any fairies to enjoy. This detail shocked me because although I was accustomed to seeing and revealing many things, I had not expected to encounter something so sweet, so detailed and unique. After I had a distant chat with the fairies that were around, I came to the conclusion that they indeed loved and appreciated her efforts and her consistency, that they were incredibly grateful for the swings. They explained to me that they were far more active at night and could not tolerate the sunlight, and therefore her efforts were most enjoyed at night, or at minimum in the shade of the pine tree during the daytime. The issue was not that they were absent, but that she could not see them or experience them, both due to the difference in active times and due to the fact that this dear lady did not possess any natural or developed clairvoyant gift. In this case, I instructed her on ways to improve potentially her own psychic latent gifts. I advised her to perhaps consider staying up later and spending night time in the garden. And I sent her further resources to assist her in developing her own clairvoyance. Although we lost touch over time, especially when I retired, I still think of her very fondly, and I love the day that I spent at her home for the first day of investigation. It is one of the most memorable and pleasant experiences in investigating the paranormal that I have ever had. And I do believe that these two cases lend credibility to the idea that there are many types of non-human people who live within the trees, whether physically, energetically, or maybe both.
5.
In this holiday moment, a family is decorating a Christmas tree. As the man begins to decorate and the kid is running around the Christmas tree, nothing seems unusual until the very end of the video, when the camera suddenly cuts off. The person that published this video online believes that their house is haunted, and the person that recorded the video believes that this is a ghost caught on camera. Is this green orb an actual ghost, or is it just some sort of lens flare? Yeah, so this orb is green, and the person that uploaded the video believes that this was paranormal activity. Number 4. Orbs are synonymous with paranormal activity. We see the person, they tried to highlight it with an O or circle, and you see that going around the tree there. Is there paranormal activity being caught on camera here? It's very interesting. This video was posted to YouTube, and the person that recorded it says you could see several orbs around the Christmas tree. The best one being the orb in between the wall and tree in the middle to the upper right corner. We see a Christmas tree and orbs flying around. The publisher of the video tried to highlight it with a O. Is this just a coincidence that so many people claim to have paranormal activity around the Christmas holidays? Number 3. The black and white CCTV camera video captures an apparition caught on camera walking past the Christmas tree in the living room of the house. In this old video that was taken on December 7th, 2001 at 6:21 p.m., a haunted apparition walks across someone's living room and it was caught on their home security camera. We see what looks like an apparition wearing white with dark hair. It appears out of thin air and walks across the living room floor and then disappears. Also on this video, we see what looks like poltergeist activity. It looks like a cloth or something is thrown across the floor and it moves the table and some furniture. It's very difficult to tell because the quality of the video is so poor. This one is really interesting because you see it looks like a poltergeist lifts up the bulb on the tree. I mean, that's really creepy. In this video, someone is recording their Christmas tree on their smartphone for a long period of time. Perhaps they want to share the moment with relatives and friends online. And then something strange happens towards the end of the video. One of the ornaments falls. Some might say this is because it wasn't secure, but there's something strange. When we take a closer look, it looks like the Christmas ornament rises and it's being pulled away from the tree. Is this evidence of a poltergeist? Is it a hoax? The person recording becomes scared. You can hear them say, "Oh my," as the video abruptly ends. The video seems legit. Did an unseen force remove the Christmas ball? We may never know. That's like, wow. That's unbelievable. You can see the person recording is shocked. You see the tree here, and you see what looks like something unusual. The person that uploaded the video believes there is an orb and is haunting that tree, and you see the train going around there. A person believes paranormal activity was caught on camera. We see a Santa doll moving in an electric train going around the Christmas tree, and then we see an orb fly across the camera. The person also claims that on this video there is an EVP, and they claim that their tree might be haunted. Many paranormal researchers believe that haunted items do exist, and the person that uploaded this video said that this is a very old Christmas tree that used to be used by their mother and father, who are now no longer with us. Maybe they were making their presence known during the holidays. Like, for real, who knows? It's very hard to tell. That's why we're here looking at the evidence.
Some people assert that ghosts of humans past live within the Christmas trees or around them or come out around them during the holiday season. In fact, nearly every clip that I have found of allegedly true paranormal activity around a Christmas tree is said to be from some human spirit of an ancestor passed on. How, though, can we be so very sure? While I do believe that it is entirely possible, as human spirits are often reported amongst the Fae and the aliens, I do submit for your examination the possibility that there are other options.
Right now it's Friday, December 10th, 2021. Now, this Christmas tree right here, there was a time when that Christmas tree flew into the wall because of whatever kind of paranormal energy has been in this house. So I thought that I would share with you right now the footage of that tree getting possessed by poltergeist or whatever has been in this house. And let me know what you think about that video. It's right here.
is a family reality vlog for this Friday.
Yeah, and you decided to play this, like... Yeah, and I already told you about the one yesterday up in the attic, and you decided to come out here in the main living area of the house.
And do it again.
Yeah, and do it again, and look what happened because of that. Just look, now we have a mess to clean up.
3 hours earlier.
Okay, I'm kind of scared. I guess I did this the other day. I'm gonna die. Charlie, Charlie, are you here? Charlie, Charlie, are you here? Charlie, Charlie, are you here? Charlie, Charlie, can we play?
Oh my gosh, why would you ask him? I'm just gonna back up. Why would you ask him to play?
I don't know, that's what you're supposed to do.
That's so creepy.
Charlie, Charlie, can we play?
Not ready, not ready.
Charlie, Charlie, if you're here, show us a sign.
2 hours later.
Alright, what's our stupid idea?
We're gonna do the Charlie Charlie challenge.
After my dad told me not to because of what happened last time.
But, you know,
I don't listen.
gotta get that communication.
I'm scared. I want to know if there's demons still in my house because, like, I wanted to... Yeah, but it was creepy yesterday. Okay.
I'm so scared.
Okay. Charlie, Charlie, are you there? Stop laughing at me. Oh my god, did he move? Did he move?
Not really. Do it again.
Charlie, Charlie, can we play?
Why would you ask it to play? I'm just gonna step back. Why would you ask it to play?
That's what you're supposed to do.
But that's creepy.
And
Play with a
that's
demon?
That's what gets it to come. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing at this. This isn't funny.
I know.
I'm talking to a demon. Charlie, Charlie, if you were here, show us a sign. I swear, I thought the pencil lined up. Like, it wasn't that exact in the middle.
Well,
It was more on no. Charlie, Charlie, if you're here, show us a sign.
whoa, no! No!
According to some Christian resources and people, it is sinful to bring inside the evergreens because demons lie within them, and to add them to one's home is to both invite them in and to worship them. Does that concept also apply to faux greenery? Many of these reports of paranormal activity center around our plastic pine trees, oddly, now. Is it that even offering up somehow the essence of the evergreen in the home, or providing a 3D notion of it, is enough to stir up activity and interest from these less physical people? In the clip of the girl playing the Charlie Charlie game, what do you think is occurring? Though I'm not any tech specialist, I can say that the footage seems interesting enough to me, and I suspect that something paranormal is taking place with their man-made Christmas tree, or if not that, then perhaps somewhere else within the home. The channel creators sport several key risk factors for negative paranormal haunting, after all, in my experience, and the child purposefully playing a summoning game to me seems to be the star upon the highest haunted bough. The trouble is in discerning precisely what is happening, however.
The world is full of myths, passed down from generation to generation. Mysteries haunt us. Monsters hunt us. Today we're looking at the Philip experiment from the 1970s, wherein a group from the Toronto Parapsychological Research Society believed they could create and bring about a poltergeist simply by using their minds. The surprising results of their experiment left many with the question, can you really make a ghost out of thin air? Part 1. Philip Elsford is born. The mid-17th century was a turbulent time for England. The witch hunts that started in the 15th century were now reaching a dangerous peak, with the Puritans coming into power and influence. To add to the flowing accusations of witchcraft and pacts of Satan, in 1642, the country fell into civil war, with the supporters of Parliament opposing King Charles I and his supporters. Within the king's army stood Philip Elsford, who had led a relatively peaceful life until the start of the war. Philip was born in 1624, and by the age of 16 had been knighted for his loyalty and military prowess. While out on a king's errand, he met Dorothea, the beautiful daughter of a nobleman, and after some time, asked for her hand in marriage. It's said the moment the marriage was official, Dorothea changed, becoming cruel, cold, and distant toward Philip. She was said to cause violent arguments constantly with her soft-spoken husband to the point where he no longer wanted to be part of the marriage. But for the loyal Catholic Philip, he would not dare consider divorce. Instead, he spent his days riding around his estate, avoiding his wife in order to maintain some peace in his life. It was during one of these excursions, Philip came upon a group of traveling Romani people, and among them, he met Margot, a woman he believed to be his true love. She was described as a caring woman, whose mesmerizing blue eyes could peer into his soul. The two decided they couldn't be apart, and Philip made a vow to find a way they could be together. In the meantime, he brought Margot to his family's estate and hid her in the gatehouse. Unfortunately for the two, it didn't take long for Dorothea to discover the secret affair, and she wanted revenge. She took advantage of the hysteria flowing through the country and formally accused Margot of witchcraft, the punishment of which was death. Margot was arrested and charged. During her trial, Philip stayed quiet, afraid of coming to her defense. He then watched and did nothing as they burned her at the stake. The events left Philip broken and guilt-ridden. With the Civil Wars over and his true love murdered, he believed he had nothing to live for. In 1654, at the age of 30, Philip Elsford took his own life. The life and story of Philip Elsford is a tragic one, but it's also one that never happened. Philip Elsford only existed in the minds of 8 members of the Toronto Society of Psychical Research, who gathered in 1972 to bring him to life. But their goal wasn't to simply craft a tragic tale. Their goal was to believe in the fictional story enough that it would bring his ghost to life, and according to some, it worked.
Might this be the reason for poltergeist activity when one plays the Charlie Charlie game or Bloody Mary or Candyman games? Or is there more? You decide. If this experiment holds its weight in ether, it is possible, true, and documented that a tulpa can be created and can fulfill a storyline, complete with physical interaction. Yet, what if it is a non-human person posing as a tulpa, which is posing as a deceased human spirit? I think that the possibilities are endless. I would like now to bring us to a few more in-depth true tales of high strangeness concerning Christmas trees in the home. The first appears to us from the newly published book, The Yuletide Guide to High Strangeness. In these 14 pages, Tobias Wayland, along with his wife, Emily, who provides such charming original illustrations, explores winter paranormal legends, theories, and true modern age accounts, tying them succinctly and successfully, in my opinion, to broader phenomena such as UFOs. I suggest this book wholeheartedly, whether for oneself as a gift or to a fellow Fortean as a holiday treat. What follows is the account of a young man named Claxton Kalmbach, who was a teenager at the time of his encounters, which he says began in 2002 in New York City. Though he reports several strange Christmas encounters, this one particularly is most relevant for our criteria today. Christmas Eve of 2004. He was lying on the couch in the living room while his parents were conversing in the kitchen, when suddenly he saw, quote, a huge man, about 7 or 8 feet tall, crawl underneath the tree and just vanish, unquote. Before the bulky stranger disappeared, he looked at Claxton and said, quote, shh, unquote. Deciding that this event was too strange for him to remain comfortable alone, he went to join his parents in the kitchen. These sightings became a regular occurrence, according to Claxton. What is Claxton experiencing? Is it some holiday hallucination or much more? Well, what I am preparing to share with you may change your mind about such events. This is, I promise you, a genuine haunted faux tree. It sits in our dining room in the corner, nestled neatly as you see here. It is my husband's favorite tree, and he's had it since before we met. I loved this artificial pine artifice, and now that I have seen it used for a peaking place, I love it even more. One day in the summer of 2021, I was standing at the sink, washing dishes. This is the view from there. So long into my chore, I looked up from the dishes, simply enjoying the calm, clean atmosphere, and from the center right of my vision saw a medium-colored brown-orange face peeking from the tree at me around the corner of the kitchen window-style cutout wall. I have the feeling that this person was female, or at least highly feminine. They, or she, possessed a fine face, a perfectly curvy nose, well-shaped lips and large eyes, all the same medium brown-orange. The head and face were about the size of my own, or that of an average adult human person. They, or she, seemed shocked that I was able to see them or her. The face pulled back quickly towards the bows and was gone. This is the first and only experience I've ever had with such a person, being, encounter, or, of course, was I just seeing things? I think it's possible, but for my own 2 cents, unlikely. In my understanding and in my experience, chaos is its own kind of liminality. Whereas, what are the holidays for most of us but chaos and perhaps, therefore, liminality? The daily routines are uprooted, likely entirely. The home may well be flooded with unusual human guests, and the whole holiday, plus usually time surrounding it, is a flurry of activity and emotion unusual to the day-to-day otherwise. Then we pull out items that usually sit quietly in boxes, gathering dust. We eat foods reserved for this time, watch shows, listen to music, etc., that are only for the holiday in question, and we adopt behaviors that any other time are simply non existent. Then, too, we have what I call extraliminal spaces, such as the space under the Christmas tree or within its branches. or the spaces within the garland with which we decorate, or in the wreaths that we put up, or within certain Christmas ornaments. I do believe that with all of these factors combined, in addition to the eerie, deep darkness of winter, the result is that major paranormal activity, visits, and interest from non human peoples picks up dramatically. I may be wrong, but objectively, it has seemed to me that fairy type interest and encounters specifically, as well as some other types of these, follow certain predictable patterns of liminality and weather or darkness in the environment. It seems to me that the most active times of the year in the northern hemisphere are from about Halloween until the end of January, though it may be through February in some places, depending upon individual factors related to sunrise and sunset times, as well as the weather during the daylight hours. Could it be true that the most active and, ironically, ethereal times for human people are also, in a mirrored way, the most active and, ironically, physical times for some non human peoples when they are easiest able to visit the human world? What did you make of all of this? Do you think that evergreens are enchanted? Better yet, what if there's someone living in your holiday tree?
Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, the leaves are so unchanging. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, the leaves are so unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also when 'tis cold and drear. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, the leaves are so unchanging. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst give me. How often has the Christmas tree afforded me the greatest glee? Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure thou canst